Happy Monday, everyone. This is Martha with Nature Niche, and this week I want to build on the rare species kick I've been on. The last couple of weeks we've talked about Michigan's endangered species protection law, the Endangered Species Act protecting species at the federal level. And in both of those, I encouraged you to get to know the rare species that you might encounter around the landscapes that you occupy. So you share your home place with these rare species. And so this week, I want to focus on what's rare near me. How do you go about finding those species and learning more about them? So I'm going to share several website resources with you. And I do this in the hopes that every Michigander learns about and to love and appreciate our piping plover and understands why there are signs along the beach and why we have to be careful in certain places during the nesting season. That we understand there are rare plants in our amazing sand dunes along the lake shores that we need to be careful of, like federally listed pitcher's thistle, or dwarf lake iris along the roadsides, or as we're traveling in the straits, or maybe visiting Tawas Point and see all the wonderful monarch migration, understand how special that is. Or maybe we see a peregrine falcon, now state threatened on some of our tall buildings in some of our large cities like Ann Arbor, Lansing, Bay City. And I especially, for the folks who live around me in Midland, want you to know about our special concern Blandings turtles. We have a really healthy population, and we need to keep them that way. And we can do that by helping them cross the road and being aware of our activities. So this species is currently being considered to become a candidate species under the Endangered Species Act. To learn more about that species, check out Monday with Martha number 2, and then 155, 106, and 107 for more about how we can help turtles generally. Just one more example, when you're out bird watching, whether it's in one of Michigan's great wetlands or along the Great Lake shore, this is a Caspian tern, a state-threatened species I observed while my dad and nephew were fishing in the Lachino Islands area. So there's just so much beautiful habitat around us, so many neat species, and I really want to help you learn about and appreciate our natural heritage. All right, so let's start at the federal level. Broad scale, take a look at the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service's ECOS, or Environmental Conservation Online System. This is a great way to search at the state level to understand federally listed species. You can kind of see state to state. I did want to point out, let's just click on Michigan to see what comes up. On this one, it does only bring up the officially listed endangered or threatened species. It is nice that it organizes it by groups the species, just to help you wrap your head around here are the listed birds at the federal level in Michigan. The clams, our fern, plants wrap onto the next page. You can see those. Here's the pitcher's thistle I showed earlier, dwarf lake iris, the previous page, and insects as well as mammals and our reptiles. So a very basic place to start to understand what federally listed as threatened or endangered under the Endangered Species Act occurs in your state. So here's another ECOS website that a friend of mine from my environmental consulting days found for me. It's the Generate Species list. And this has more options for filtering. I'm going to leave it set to all and all taxonomic groups, but you could filter if you're only worried about mammals or want to know about birds. If you're only interested in certain listing status at the federal level, And you can search here again by state. I do recommend down here clicking group and federal listing status. And then if you hit submit, you can see there are 104 records of species in Michigan. You can sort on species group, so you have like things together, a little easier, I think, for the brain to process. And I just wanted to show you here that you can see things like federally endangered Karner blue butterfly, but this site also shows you things like monarch butterfly, which is recently proposed as threatened. All right, and if we scroll down to the bottom of this report and look under reptiles, we can see that Blanding's turtle and wood turtle are currently under review, being considered as candidate species. All right, and if you happen to live in a state along the coast of the United States, near the ocean, you might also be interested in marine wildlife. So this is the NOAA Fisheries website with their species directory that's searchable. You can type in a species if you have one in mind, filter on their protected status, or pick a region if you're in Alaska or say New England, and you can filter that way. And that'll give you a shortened list for your particular area, your corner of the ocean, to understand what might be in the waters nearby. And this is nice. It gives some information about the status, when it was listed. If there's a recovery plan available, you can click that link, and also if there's critical habitat. So this is a great marine wildlife resource for you. So this U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service website, IPAC, or Information for Planning and Consultation, this is where a lot of environmental consultants will start if they have a project with a federal nexus, something going on federal land or federal funding or a federal agency related permit. But it's a place you can at least get a sense at a more local scale of what federally listed species might be in your area. So if you click on Get Started, first you have to enter a location. So if I just do like Midland, Michigan, it zooms in and, say I'm curious kind of what could be in the river systems near and the habitats west of downtown. I can just draw a rough polygon and finish that drawing and hit continue. And it'll pop up information within that set area. So a lot of times people will have very formal project areas, but if you're just curious about what could be in the area around you, a very, more abbreviated than the state-based lists I was showing you, this is a way to do that. And then you can click on, so it shows if you have critical habitat within that area or not. No federally designated critical habitats. If you click on species, and again, this is very coarse and doesn't necessarily mean that species is around. But I clicked on this one because I wanted to show you that there's some species guidelines to give you, more information about kind of what Fish and Wildlife Service recommends or requires to protect federally listed species. And there's good background information about the species. And I use these a lot as an environmental consultant, these best management practices to think about how do we take care of, protect, and avoid impact as much as possible to our federally listed species. So I wanted to show you that that resource is accessible through IPAC. And then to really understand what rare species could be around you, both from the federally listed under the Endangered Species Act or state listed under your specific state laws, highly recommend trying to find your Department of Natural Resources, your natural heritage database in Michigan. That data is maintained by Michigan Natural Features Inventory in their database. And I think I showed some of this as far as like finding species information. They have rare plants and rare animals. What I wanted to show you today was the county element data. So that's where I am right now. And you can select, so just to stick with our Midland theme here, I'll select Midland County. And this pulls up all state and federally listed species. So you can see federal and state status here. How many occurrences are known for the particular county you drilled down on, and last reported observation. That doesn't mean the species, even if it's really old, it doesn't mean the species isn't there. It just hasn't been recorded or reported to MNFI or the DNR in a long time. So with this one, you can sort by scientific name or common name, but I wanted to show you, like, this is how you really take a close local, like county-based look at what rare things could be around you. So wood turtle and bald eagle are both things I've seen in my particular neck of the woods. Peregrine falcon, Blanding's turtle. And then if you click on that, it'll take you to their abbreviated write-up about the species. You can see a map of all the counties in the state and the dates of when they were last observed and, reported to MNFI. And then there's some information about habitat, including links to the different kinds of natural communities where this species is known to occur. Some information on when you might see them or when best to survey for them and how to do that. So just a lot of great information here. And I think this is the, most comprehensive, and then it covers state and federal species, and the most local that you can get your hands on. Rare species data is very sensitive, and you don't want it to get in the hands of poachers, people in the pet trade. You can misuse the data. And so that's why it's filtered at the county level. If you are a consultant and you do need more specific data for your particular project, you can do an information request through Michigan Natural Features Inventory. But for most of us, if we just want to know what could be in our landscapes, this is a great place to look. So I know that was a lot of websites, but I hope that helps you figure out what are the rare wildlife and plant species near me, and where can I start learning about those species so that I can recognize them when I'm out in the landscape and enjoy and appreciate their value. Take care and have a good week.